Hello, glorious ones. So, the question today is from someone in my community, and it is how can we avoid fear based thinking during this time of the coronavirus pandemic? How do we avoid fear based thinking? So, let's tune into that and hear what Spirit has to offer. Greetings, precious ones. We are pleased, very pleased to have the invitation to respond in this way. It is very difficult, we would say, to tell the human mind to avoid something. It is very difficult. You probably most likely find yourselves in the position of great avoidance just about every day. You want to avoid, for example, traffic accidents. You want to avoid, for example, getting arrested. You want to avoid, for example, breaking rules in which you will find yourselves in precarious situations. You want to avoid hurting others' feelings. You want to avoid treating yourselves or others badly. There is so much, so very much that plagues the mind as the instruction begins. Remember to avoid this. So rather than come from this perspective, we would just play with the energy of the question a little bit and reframe it so it will be easier to be digested and understood as we respond to it. It is not about avoiding fear. It is never about avoiding fear. It is not your role to avoid fear. It is not your role to avoid anything. Rather, we ask that you project your energy towards where you are going. If you were to take a particular hiking path into the woods and two paths were marked, one was marked this one and the other one was marked avoid this one, well then it would be quite easy, right? You would direct your energy towards the path that you were moving towards that said this one. Perhaps it is a simplistic example, but we know that you can understand that wherever it is you focus your energy will be where your body follows, where your mind follows, even where your spirit and soul follow. And so decide where you are going. Decide not what you are going away from or recoiling from, but where you are going. You are not avoiding fear. You are moving towards love. And so choose love. It is really that simple. And how do you tell the difference? Well, that is as simple as placing one's hand over one's heart. The heart will tell you instantaneously whether it is a fear energetic or whether it is a love energetic. And it is as simple as the difference between constriction versus expansion, between tightness versus openness, between challenge versus ease. So you see, too, this is very simplistic in its explanation, but nonetheless, it is incredibly, incredibly important that you attune to this. For now, you will see that there are those within your sphere, some within the leaderships that you have come to look towards for guidance, who are quite adept at creating fear, at stirring up fear, and even quite adept at making it look as though they are not doing so, but they are just coming from the reality perspective. We ask that you be keen to this, that you be increasing in your awareness of this, that you do not allow yourselves to be manipulated by the somewhat sophisticated fear stirring that these others are trained to do, whose job it is to create fear. For from the place of fear is when you are likely to be the most obedient. We are hoping that you are not looking for obedience. We are hoping that you recognize now is the time for each and every one to attune deeply within, to find that place of truth within themselves, so that they can recognize serving the greatest good will serve oneself. Being part of that which is love will always come encircling in softness and protection and deep abiding affection and love. That is the best word we have for it. There is no word greater. Perhaps agape, that is what we will use as well. Anyways, we digress. What is important here for you to understand is not to avoid anything, but to move towards that which is expansive and full of love. You will know it when you hear it, when you feel it, when you sense it, when you can just about touch it. Within the context of the natural fear that humans are experiencing in attempting to avoid contracting this particular viral illness, we understand that fear is a given. It is not your role to try to purge yourself of it. Rather, feel it and recognize that that is a good feeling. The fear of not wanting to become ill, the fear of illness, the fear of unwellness, the fear of spreading to those who are most vulnerable. This is a good fear, we dare say. If any fear can be good, let it move you into loving action. Let it be that which insists that you stay home, that you stay safe, that you stay distanced, so you may do your part as protectors of those who are vulnerable, so that you may do your part as lovers of those who are in need and in need of protection. So we will say to you the following. The feeling of fear will come and go. It is like waves. If you allow for it, it will crash onto the surface and recede. You will not stay in this, for you are on the journey towards love. These waves of fear will be a natural part of you returning to love. For how can you return to something unless you have the opposite experience of it? So now we have opposing forces, do we not? We have fear, we have love. We do not need to battle against one or the other. We do not need to pit them against each other. We do not need to be in avoidance of one over another. We simply set our sights on that direction in which we are going towards, the path of love for all, and then allow for any other feelings that bubble up to simply be present and move through. If you can move your body as they are moving through, all the better. If you can discipline the mind as they are moving through, all the better. If you can seek support of compassionate others while they are moving through, all the better. Do not believe for a moment that you are alone in any of this. In fact, that is part of what fear depends on, is the loneliness factor, the isolation factor. So do not allow yourself to believe in that. That part is false. Rather, gather community and family and loved ones and create friendships and expand the circles, so that you are in the remembering that you are all, as you have been saying, in this together. For nothing could be closer to the truth. This is a oneness that humanity is experiencing right now. This is a beautiful gift that you are having the opportunity to share with each other. And we ask that you do so. Share and love, and set your attention and your focus on the path of love, and you will not go wrong, and you will not get stuck in the fear. It will simply move through, and you will return to love.